You brought up quickly a little bit of what I want to talk to in the second half of the show here, which is etiquette and the fact that this is all very new technology. I'm a mom, you're a dad. You know, our kids are texting the heck out of, I mean, I can't keep up with a third of what my daughters do. But the whole thing is that they are growing up with this as normal. We kind of came into this midlife, kind of, not midlife, but, you know, early on, don't know what the etiquette is. When do you text, when not to text? You know, do you play with your iPhone on the date all the way? And you know who I'm talking to right there. Do not play around with the applications all during the day, you know, things like that. Do you answer while you're texting? What do you do? You know, none of this has been established. There's no, you know, any kind of a norm for what you're supposed to do and not supposed to do.
Right. I think they're emerging norms and mores around this technology. And like any new invention, we're to some extent catching up in terms of, you know, what are reasonable things to do with the technology, what are unreasonable things to do. And I think, you know, the example of someone answering their phone in a restaurant, and, you know, people cast a narrow stare at this person.
Can you
who's
give us a
answering their phone.
demonstration of that stare?
You know, this sort of look like, why are you doing this right now? You should be getting out the door. You know, we're developing these things, and there are people who break the norms and are rude or inappropriate with it, and but there's a social contract being made, and it's a new one, right? And we're learning what it should be like. And my kids are using the technology differently than I am. My kids are much less prone to getting on email and sending endless numbers of emails. They're much more prone to texting or you know, or calling or meeting.
So even email is now the old school?
Email is old school.
Oh,
I
no.
mean, it really is.
I'm lost already. I just learned how to email.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble. God.
Just figured out how to write an email and not use capital letters, you know. I'm not shouting at anybody. Yeah, it's old school. People under you know, age 25, under age 20, fewer and fewer emails that they're using, and more text. And I think increasingly, as we look at these handhelds now, you know, we've got not just text, we've got presence, we've got location services. This thing, if I tell it to, knows where I am, knows where my friends are, and the amount of information that can be shared that way is amazing. And it will get people out of email. It will get them more synchronous, more current when they're talking to each other, more present like we are now.
I don't know. There's something creepy to me about knowing where all my friends, or them knowing where I am. And I don't know what it is. It's just, I don't want to be a little dot on your little, you know, it's like, oh, that's where Christina, what's she doing there? Kind of, it's too much like my mom, you know, after school, where's the daughter? Kind of thing. I don't know. It's a little weird to me. What is the need to know where every single person is in the city that you know?
Well, I don't know. And if you don't feel like you have a need to know, then you don't turn on permission for people to know that, and you don't interact that way. But I think for some people, I can see my kids saying, "Hey, where are you guys? You know, I'm going skateboarding, or you know, or I want to try out the latest, you know, dance move. You know, where are you guys?" And everybody's saying, "Here I am," and you know, let's get together. I mean, I can see it bringing them together more effectively.
And they're not going to be able to lie to him anymore at all, because really, you're at the library? You know, is that downtown now? You know,
yeah.
It's like,
If they enable me to look, right? I remember a few years ago there was a phone that Disney came out with for whatever reason. Disney Corporation.
Phone, really?
A Disney phone. And its main purpose was to let you call mom or dad and actually also turn on GPS or location services so that mom or dad would know where you were.
Wow.
And the first thing my kids said is, don't get me one of those. You know, they very much wanted a phone and a device, but they're like, don't get me that one.
That's because he has smart kids.
Yeah.
You know, it's like an electronic leash.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, and another part of this, and that kind of brings up my next point, is Facebook. You know, what is tweeting versus stalking kind of thing. You know, if you, I always said lately, I've been saying that if you're a stalker by trade or profession, it's all over now, because you don't have to find out where people are. You know where everyone is every second of the day. It's no more hunt. There's no more fun in it, you know. So I don't know, the whole tweeting about everything, about I'm eating cake now.
Yeah,
you know?
isn't that good? Do you eat cake too?
Exactly. What is a good tweet to you? What do you think tweeting is good for?
Well, I think that's a question that still remains to be answered. Tweeting is probably the newest one, microblogging through tweets, where you have 140 characters to play with. I've experimented with it mostly from a business sense. You know, my friends aren't tweeting; they are in Facebook. They're sharing photos and talking to each other. I had we put a reunion together of my my elementary school friends, literally over Facebook, and it was amazing how many of them we got because of that technology. Tweeting, we're not using as much. I'm using it in a business context, and we're telling everybody at Ingress what we're doing. You know, we've got open source software. It's another democratizing trend, is that people are just giving their software away. You know, go use it, build something with it. If it works and you want support, come back to us. Great. But software's free, so that's a great thing. And we're tweeting about that. We're using Twitter and telling people what's going on. And I've made new acquaintances on Twitter through that technique. Business colleagues who are talking to me about what they're doing with software, and then that's been fun. But I think how it will be used and how it will most effectively be used is just being invented by people who are experimenting with it. They're trying it out, seeing what they can do.
You mentioned software now. As far as sharing and being open, it wasn't always like that, though. Wasn't it something where it was like, mine, don't come near, guard mine,
Yeah,
my
absolutely. The system programmers downstairs own the computer, and, even the programmers were sort of, just visiting in terms of being able to put their programs on the main computer. Well, because there was a great need to control. Computing resources were very, very scarce. So you really needed expertise to use them effectively, to use them efficiently. And as the price of computing power has come down, and every year and a half, its capacity has doubled. If you think about Moore's law, the necessity to be just a perfect scientist in terms of how you build software has lessened, and people can now build software, and it's not perfectly written, but it solves a problem, or it does something extremely innovative that no one would have thought of before. We've got software in people's hands now that never had it before. People are writing these iPhone apps, giving them away for free, and they're inventing all kinds of amazing things. I can go on here and find my local coffee shop, find out where the movie is, invite someone and buy tickets through this little piece of software I got for free that somebody sat down and wrote. So it's been amazing.
Let me ask you something about your iPhone. Do you have a lot of applications on your iPhone?
It's funny. I haven't found so far that I've had it for about 6 weeks. I waited till the price came down. It started out at $800 or something. Now you can get one for $100 now, which is indicative of the trend in the industry. Everything gets cheaper.
Early adopter, is that what they call it when they buy it right away?
Exactly. I decided to wait until I could turn it on its side so that I could actually see the letters and write a message appropriately. So I waited that long, and I found a good handful of iTunes apps that have been really effective for me. I mean, I love music, so I use Shazam. If there's a song playing I don't know, I can hold it up. It's a little piece of software that if there's a song playing when you're in a restaurant or a coffee shop or a bar, wherever you are, you can hold this thing up, and in a few seconds it'll tell you what that song is. In fact, you can then click on it and buy it if you want. You can download it.
That's okay.
So that's a fun one. Another one.
I don't know about. I have to say something about that one because it's making it too easy, people. I mean, it's too easy. It's like information at your fingertips. When do you get to suffer and try to figure something, MacGyver in your mind, what the answer is by using your intellect and thought and going back into? I mean, if it's all right here, where is our long-term memory? Where is our trying to learn new things or trying to figure it out by, well, I remember this is linked to that? I mean, it's too easy, don't you think, that everything is at our fingertips?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of if you're a programmer, it's kind of a working, in the old days, it's a working storage versus, hardcore memory issue, right? I mean, I don't need to, I don't need to sit around and remember that I heard this song called, Delilah or something when I was in a coffee shop, and get home and drive to the record store and try to find that recording. I heard something and it was called this. I don't need to do that. And I think that, the right way to use computing technology, one of the right ways, is to take care of some things that free you up to think about more important things. So if I don't have to sit around and try to memorize what that song was, I can sit around and think about a new iTunes application, a new iPhone application. For more than 25 years, I can absolutely say without hesitation, I'm more excited about what's going on now in the industry than ever before.
And I think that maybe our children have a new way of communicating and ways to be creative in a different sense than we did. Instead of the crayons and the chalk and stuff, they have something where they can make movies and get out there and share ideas with each other. So maybe it's not such a bad thing.
Yep, I would wholeheartedly agree with that.
Very good.